This is a big one today, and this is about personal transformation. This is about your journey. This is about your connection to yourself and how, if you're feeling down, if you're feeling lost at sea, if you're not loving your job, you're not finding fulfillment in your relationships or your hobbies, or everything feels a bit dull and flat, this could be for you. People travel to wonder at the heights of mountains, at the huge waves of the sea, at the long courses of rivers, at the vast compass of the ocean, at the circular motion of the stars, and they pass by themselves without wondering. St. Augustine wrote that, and I think it's so valid for our world today, for where we're at, for our own happiness, wellness, and fulfillment, that we really take time to wonder about yourself. Take time to figure out who you are, what's important to you, what are your values, and how you're going to engage those and implement them to your life. In this video, we're going to unpack the idea of knowing yourself better, and living closer to your values and what's, at the core of who you are. There are so many videos, books, ideas out there around this topic, so please just take this as my perspective. I will be pulling in quotes from wisdom through the years, and I'll pull in some ideas. This is just the beginning. This is just the start. There are so many ways to unpack this for yourself. And I'm just talking about it from my perspective as a guide and a coach, and through years of working and talking through this with human beings to get them to the other side of where they're at, to help them find freedom and truth for who they are. So accept this as just the gift that it is. Like it, hate it, give it thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever. This is just an offering of a way to help you to start unpacking and thinking through what's important for you. Okay. I don't think this is going to be a short video, so I will put in chapter markers and you can follow along. And I'll also be reading quotes off the screen, so right here I've got my notes. So excuse me while I do that, because I want to make sure that I stay on topic and we don't wander off and uncover too many other sub things. But if you've got questions, leave them in the comments. If I can support or help in any way, please find details on how to do that below as well. This kind of really came to me because I was thinking about, where are we at? And I really feel that there's a crisis of meaning in our world, in terms of people feeling disconnected from themselves, from their ideas, from their values, feeling lost in the world, feeling that they are achieving the things, they're making the milestones, whether that's the job, the car, the house, the family. They are getting to the points that they thought, oh, this is where I'm meant to be, and that meant to be is a societal norm. We're meant to go to school, go to university, get a job, find a partner, buy a house. Like, there's a set way, and those things can happen. And I think it's, and we're led to believe that will create a level of fulfillment and satisfaction. And I know from my own journey that that's not the case. I know from journeying alongside many people that those things don't create the fulfillment that we desire. And then we're left feeling lost, sick, discombobulated, like disassociated from ourselves, our family, all of the things that are going on. And then we start to search for meaning and search for happiness in lots of different places. Definitely one of the things I'm seeing is, like, in trying to fulfill ourselves, we're watching more and more videos. We're scrolling more and more. That infinite scroll is taking us away. And then I think, like I think lots of people can, lots of people are going on journeys of discoveries, and that's beautiful, and I think that's right. Um, you know, but I also think that people are searching for meaning in the wrong places, like outside of their relationship, by acting out, by overindulgence in drugs or alcohol, um, by you know kind of overworking and just kind of getting sucked into that hustle culture, which is, I don't believe, is fulfilling for humans. I totally get there's a time and a place when we pour ourselves into something important like work, and there's a fulfillment. But if you're doing that as from a place of drive to mask everything and block everything, I don't know if that's going to be like super helpful. There's a quote by Thoreau: "Not until we are lost do we begin to understand ourselves." In going through all of these pieces around um, searching for meaning in the wrong places, that's when we start to figure out that we're lost. So we start to feel disconnected from ourselves. We feel that the things that used to fulfill us and make us happy don't have the same impact anymore. Don't ding that bell and make it happen. And I think that that's a real struggle. I think that's a real struggle for a lot of people. And I've definitely been guilty of this before, is that I've lived my life with other people's expectations. When I was growing up, no one was asking me who I was, what I wanted to do, and what was my work. What did I want to study? I grew up in a home where my father is successful at what he does, and there was a almost implied, well, you're just going to go and do that. Um, and there was a level of interest there, because I think what we see modeled in our homes and in our families, and even in our close knit networks of community, we often think that that's the way, that's the only way. So whatever that looks like for you, like, you'll know it. I can't tell you what that is. But I do think that I definitely felt a sense of expectation to live up to my kind of family's um, kind of beliefs around all of those things, around school, university, what success looked like, and what that paradigm of success looked like. Um, and I get it, but our world has changed, and our world continues to change, and like our world is changing at a much more rapidly evolving state. And I just think about the 4 years of this decade that we're in. We've seen transformation and transformation, and I believe we're going through another transformation now, as AI is going to disrupt lots of things, lots of industries, and lots of ways we engage. And that's one of the reasons I'm here, offering to like suggest ways for you to find meaning outside of just the infinite scroll, or trying to mask all of the feelings that you feel inside, because I believe there's a way forward. So there's that idea of living your life under someone's expectations, and I don't think you really understand that. I didn't, until I went through it and realized, oh, this is not what's right for me. Um, like uh, just to give you an example, um, my dad is a brilliant thinker. Like, he actually did 2 university degrees at the same time. He's incredibly intelligent, and that has paid dividends in his life. Um, and I'm not saying that I'm not intelligent. I think I'm reasonably smart, but I also have a real heart-centered intelligence, a deep connection with people, and a deep emotional intelligence to be able to understand the world in a much more feeling and less thinking way. And I think that's partly why I'm here offering to take you through this right now, is because I feel this disconnection in the people that I talk to, in my friends, in society. And I just think that it's that dissonance between the intense focus on intelligence and performance around that, versus this heart-centric people-focused person that I am meant that there was immediately a disconnect between um, who I was and what the expectation for my life was. So unless we sit down and get on a call, like I can't take you through and tell you what that is, but that should bubble up quite quickly for you to be able to go, yeah, I know how I'm different, and you'll know if you've been to university and done a course that you were like, oh, this isn't working for me, or this doesn't line up, or the trajectory that this is going to take me on is a destination I don't want to go to. And that's some of the first steps of um, understanding yourself and knowing who you are and knowing what's important. And I think that that's really key. Um, Aldous Huxley, um, who's a fabulous author, he wrote this quote: "If most of us remain ignorant of ourselves, it is because self-knowledge is painful and we prefer the pleasures of illusion." And I think right now, for a lot of people, that's why the infinite scroll is so addictive and so, I, I want to say fulfilling, but it's distracting. It's distracting them from having to process any shadow thoughts, any ideas of having to work through this important stuff, this important journey. And that could be tied up with staying up late, gaming all night, um, drug or alcohol abuse, finding solace in extramarital affairs, um, you know, overdoing it at the gym. 100% focusing in and going all in on specific things that are not aligned with you, but they take you away from the pain of having to look at yourself and look at who you are. And it is painful because we have to accept responsibility for our actions. We have to accept responsibility that we have to make a choice, and that choice might um, kind of step on other people's feet. You might need to change boundaries for people you know and love. You might need to have difficult conversations. You might need to completely uproot your life and go and pursue something that's really important to you. And that is ultimately painful, but without going through that, we don't get to a point where we're able to discover and find a sense of meaning and connection to what's important to us. Viktor Frankl, in his book Man's Search for Meaning, which is an incredibly deep and profound book, and if you've got time to read it, please do, if you want to search a little bit more. And um, in his time in the concentration camps in Germany, he saw that the people who were able to survive were the people who had a meaning beyond themselves and above themselves. They were looking out for other people. And this is the most horrendous, conditions that man has ever put other humans through. And, it's a profound story of connecting to something that's really deep. And like I hold my hand up. I have absolutely no idea what that level of depth and connection is, but it's so important to understand the message that he's saying is that our happiness doesn't come from pursuing things that make us happy. So it's not Friday night out with your friends. It's not dancing till 2 a.m. I'm not saying any of these things are wrong. They're all beautiful and they're all fun, but in the pursuit of our happiness, it's not that. In terms of what kind of Frankel's saying, what he's saying is when we pursue something that's at a higher level than us, when we're of service, when we're dedicating ourselves to something important, that's where transformation and exploration, self-exploration helps you to get to a place of understanding purpose. And that's through meaningful action. And it doesn't have to be that everybody goes down to the food bank and starts giving out food to the homeless. That's a beautiful thing. Please do if that's what you feel led to do. But it can also mean just pushing yourself beyond your boundaries of comfort. And I think that's why we've seen an explosion of people doing kind of cold plunges and ultra running. And I've done both of these things, because partly I know that I need to push myself outside of my comfort zone on a regular basis to understand more of who I am. And I have helped at food banks and worked with the homeless. So, I'm not discounting any of those things, but it's your journey, and you're going to need to find out what's that piece that's going to take you outside of your comfort zone and push you in a way that's deep and meaningful and important for you. But it also connects you to who you are and helps you understand it. And I can, more than getting into cold water, going for big long runs in the middle of the night up the mountains, that has probably been, certainly in the past year, that has been the piece that has connected me the most to why am I here? Why am I doing this? Why am I pushing myself this much? Why am I committed to running beyond the distance of an ordinary marathon? Why do I need to do it at night with like one other person in the dark with a headlamp on? And for me, that was just a beautiful moment of understanding that I have this depth and resilience and connectedness that I don't find when I'm sitting at my desk. When I was doing the job that I was doing, I wasn't feeling connected to myself. I was feeling really disconnected to myself. And I think it's really important that we figure those things out and we find ways to push and challenge ourselves and to unbalance the status quo to go and figure it out. So doing hard things, transformation through finding some level of meaning in your life. Yep. And of course, there's a whole bunch of ways in which that can happen. Carl Jung said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." And I think what Jung was really getting at is that it's important for us to live authentically to ourselves, authentically to our story, and remembering that you are the author of your story. You are the person who gets to write this script. You are the person who gets to sit down and create the movie of your life. And don't just sit there and wait for it to happen. Get out and make changes and explore that. And I think on another level, Confucius said, the more you know yourself, the more you forgive yourself. And I think there's something really profound in that statement. Because if we continue to blame the world, blame our upbringing, blame our circumstances, we're pushing the locus of control externally, and we're not taking any self-responsibility. Because yes, the past may have done something that you're unhappy with, and it may have put you in a place where you're, feeling challenged, you're feeling on the back foot, you're feeling like I could be somewhere else. But I guarantee you that your past has created who you are. But you are the person who's in charge of your present today, and you are the person who's in charge of making the decisions for how you're going to live going forward, regardless of your past. And not even regardless of your past, including that, including all of those moments that created you and, enabled you to be the person that you are, that has given you the strength and the resilience and the tenacity and the stories so that you can take that, you can live for today, and you can plan a future that you're going to be excited about for tomorrow. Okay, so a couple of things that you can do. So one, I think you really need to stop running from yourself. Stop running from the stories that you've told yourself. Stop running from that past. And just to start to embrace that inner journey. And that can look like reading more, taking time to journal and unpack what's happening in your life, pushing yourself into those places of discomfort, whether that's physically, it's mentally, or it's in a place of going find some way to serve. I'm sure you can find an afternoon or an evening where you can go out and help clean up your neighborhood with a local group where you can go and serve people who are less fortunate than you. And I'm not just talking about writing a check and getting a tax rebate. Like, I'm talking about actually go down there and offer to help. Almost all charities have ways in which people can get involved and go and help. And I know this because I spent 5 years working at a charity here in Dublin who help people who are out of work get back to work, you know, and there are so many ways in which you can get involved and help out rather than just a tax write-off. Go down, meet the people, talk to them, walk alongside them. There's loads of ways. And I think when you think about it and when you process it, you will have something that resonates for you. So for my daughter, if I was to ask her, and she's only 11, where could she go and volunteer? She is all about animals, and she would go straight to our local DSPCA, which is like an animal rescue center, and she'd go and volunteer there, regardless of like what age they accept volunteers. That would be the place where she'd be like, I would go and do that. And that would be like her place to go and serve. So whatever resonates for you, find out who those people are, what's available in your town and city, and go and offer to help. Through that journey of finding meaning outside of yourself, finding meaning outside of your comfort zone, this is the place and the moment where there's that real connection to self-discovery. D.H. Lawrence said, you've got to know yourself so that you can at last be yourself. And I think that that's the moment when we've forgiven ourselves and when we get to know ourselves, then you get to start acting as the person that you really are. And when you are living in line with your values, you're living in line with your deepest meaning, there's a beautiful sense of flow and a sense of things coming together. And this, I have to warn you, can take a long time. This is not instantaneous, because you'll probably be living your life in all of the same circumstances, with all of the same people and all of the same triggers and all of the same invitations to stay comfortable. And it takes a while for you to take your new awareness of yourself and kind of start to figure out, well, this isn't serving me, and this isn't helping, and this needs to change. But this is your call and your invitation to go on a journey of self-discovery. You might have started it already. You might have started it and it hasn't been as clearly spelled out as this, or you might be well on your way, and if you are, keep going. And if you just started, I promise you, this is a moment of, rolling the dice and going, I'm going to change, I'm going to move on, I'm going to figure out what's next. And you're going to take control. But beware, this is, again, a red pill, blue pill moment, and the rabbit hole goes very deep. And it can take a long time, and it can unhinge an awful lot of things that you thought happened. So buckle up. Sorry, I keep quoting The Matrix, because for me it was such a transformative movie. It unpacked and unhooked so many things as I've watched it again and again through the years. This is also a call to living authentically to who you are, to what you believe, and what's important to you. And that might mean that a lot of things need to change, and a lot of things need to be closer lined up to what's important to you. So I've had many, many moments of unpacking this, and that's important to recognize as well. This isn't just you find a key, you unlock a door, you walk through it, and everything's different. There are multiple stages of rebirth and reformation and transformation that you need to go through. And it is not a linear journey at all. Sometimes there are baby steps, and sometimes there are huge, jumps and leaps that you've got to make. And you don't know until you're at the other side. It's almost like, I'm just thinking of that idea of in the movie Being John Malkovich, he keeps going through these little portals, and it's almost like a rebirth and opening up into a newer, bigger, expansive world. And it's a little bit like that when we go on a journey of transformation, and being called to live true to yourself. But Tolstoy did say this morning, without knowing what I am and why I'm here, life is impossible. So maybe you're feeling like, oh, that's heavy. This is a lot. I don't know if I'm ready for it. And that might be true, and you might not be ready. But the problem is you can't wait till you're ready, because you'll never be ready. But what you can do is weigh up the cost of not taking the journey. Means you stay stuck. It means you don't move. It means you're not growing. You're not living to the full of your potential, and you're not getting to a place where you can live authentically in line with yourself. Any of those feelings of kind of disillusionment, any of those feelings of feeling kind of disconnected, any feelings like if you feel sick, maybe this makes you ill, maybe you've got, I used to suffer with headaches all the time because I wasn't living connected with myself, and I've been on an entire journey around overcoming that. But part of that has been me understanding who I am and how I operate in this world. So beware that if you don't take steps to start your journey, you'll stay where you are. And, I just want to encourage you to go for it. Encourage you to even start simply and gently with your phone in another room and a pen and a piece of paper, to journal for 15 minutes every day, to find some space to start to unpack what's going on in my head, what's going on with my reactions, what's going on with my relationships, what's going on with work, where am I feeling unfulfilled, where am I feeling that I could try and stretch and go a little bit further. Okay, we're going to land the plane. I think that right now, if you're watching this video and if you've gotten this far, that this is an invitation for the greatest adventure of your life. To start this and pursue you. Go and find you. Go and find out who you are, what's deeply important to you, what makes you tick. And there are people around you who can probably help you with that. I was just thinking about, so Barney, who's one of the people that I've been coaching and connected with, he was saying that his partner knows him so well, and she's always trying to encourage him to go down this path. So she can see that he's not fulfilled. She can see that he's not where he's meant to be, and she's gently encouraging him to go in that direction. So I hope you have somebody like a friend or a partner who's able to see that and is able to be your cheerleader and pursue that. So you don't have to do this alone. And the same thing, I'm also here as a guide and a coach. Coaching is really, it's really helpful for unpacking something small and working through it over kind of maybe 4 weeks. And you pick something and you go, oh, I need to work on this. Coaching is really helpful if there's just one thing that's blocking you. But in terms of guidance and going on this journey, this is a much longer process. This could be 3, 6, 12 months. This could be the rest of your life, and, while I am a coach and I can help with those little blocks and unpack those things and help take barriers out of the way and move forward, the longer term engagements, something where we're able to work together for weeks or months, is really where you're going to start to see value, because there is no map for your journey. There's signposts and there's tools like compasses and there are stories and there are invitations, but guiding people through this takes time. And it depends where you are and how close you are to the beginning of taking those steps. So feel free to get in touch. And if you would like to walk this out, please, get in touch and we can have a conversation about it and figure out what's the best for you. Um, don't feel alone in this situation. This is why I'm here. And I'm not just saying this because this is my business. I'm choosing to serve the world in this way and offer this service. This is not, I've come to this. I have been through the corporate world and I have been through many redundancies and been let go and told that my services aren't valued by that company anymore. I've been on my own internal journey around this, and I am here because I want to serve and I want to help. And I believe that I'm here to offer um, uh, uh, to hold your hand, to offer you the wisdom that I've seen before, but mostly to make space for you to explore who you are in a really authentic, deep, and profound way. Okay, that's all I have time for right now. It's already a big, long video. I hope some of that was helpful. I'd love to hear what you've got to say in the comments, and I'll be back again soon. Okay, you take care. Bye.